In this video, I'm going to show you how to add remote control to your creations. We will also take a look at the signals on a scope for a better understanding. Now let's take a look at the components needed for this project. Most importantly, you need a radio control transmitter and a receiver. A LiPo that can make enough current to drive your brushless DC motor, and any cheap micro servo motor. And next we have a brushless DC motor. This is the kind that are used in different types of drones. And next we have the electronic speed controller. It uses signals from the receiver to drive the speed of the motor. And we also have another motor, which is a servo motor. Now let's take a theory on the operations of the RC transmitter and receiver. I'm going to share with you how the RC transmitter and the RC receiver work together to allow you to remotely control the different kinds of motors that we are going to see in this video. So what happens is that on the transmitter there are different knobs and buttons that you can use to indicate your intention, right? So some of them you can pull up, down, left or right, depending on whatever you want to control. And what this transmitter does is that it takes the action you perform on any of its physical interfaces. So it could be the knobs or the buttons, the switches, and these other rotary encoders here. And it's going to encode that action you took into some information, and then it is wirelessly going to transmit this. So it's radio signals, right? It's wirelessly going to transmit the encoded information through the air. Of course, it is electromagnetic waves, and that comes to this receiver here. So it also has some antennas, and inside it is able to decode whatever signal the transmitter sent, and it produces the corresponding signal on one of its output pins. Now on the output pins, what it produces is known as PWM, or pulse width modulated signals, right? So there are multiple channels. On my own, I have about 10 channels here, but it could be different. And apart from connecting your motors to the designated output channels to control them, there is also different pins here that you can use to receive all the encoded information about all the actions you are taking here, and then you send it to a microcontroller for decoding. But in this experiment, we are just going to use the transmitter and the receiver without any microcontroller. Having said that, let's go to the oscilloscope to inspect how the signals look, so that it is easier for you to understand why it is able to control the different kinds of motors, either a servo motor or a brushless DC motor that is using an electronic speed controller. Now, by inspecting the signals that comes out of the output channels of the receiver, we see that it produces a 50 Hz PWM signal, and the pulse width, or the fraction of the period when the signal stays high, ranges between 1 to 2 milliseconds. And it's the same signal that is fed into either a servo motor or the brushless DC motor. They just interpret the signals differently. Now let's look at how to power the receiver unit. A close-up look of the receiver reveals the specifications of the input voltage range that must be respected. Mine is 4.0 to 6.5 volts, so you need to respect what is written on yours. Now on the right, you can see some indications of how the pins are laid out. There is the signal, the positive, and the ground rail. Now it doesn't matter where you connect your supply voltage. They are internally connected, so you can choose to connect it to any of the pins in there as long as you respect the ordering. Now if you want to power it from your workbench, a cable like this is fine. Alternatively, you can power your receiver using the ESC, or the electronic speed controller. you can see 3 pins that goes to the brushless DC motor like this, and if you swap any of the cables, it's just going to reverse direction. And there is also the side that connects to your LiPo batteries. Now in the ESC, there is a circuit that makes 5 volt available on this pin connector here, and so you can also connect it by respecting the ordering and everything should be fine. Now in this next experiment, I'm just going to show you how to power the receiver using a workbench power supply, and then I will also connect the servos. Now you see that I set the workbench power supply to 5 volts because that's what my servos run on, and I also set it to be able to draw a maximum of 1 amp of current. So I just connect the cable to the output cables from the workbench power supply, and after this I will just connect it to any of the rails, again respecting the order. Very important that you respect the order. You make sure positive goes to positive and negative goes to negative. Now at this point, when I turn on the power supply, you'll see that some LED will start blinking on the receiver, indicating that it has power, but it is not bound to the transmitter yet. So now you can see that I've connected 2 of the servo motors to different channels of the receiver, and I'm controlling them by pushing the knobs on the transmitter, and they respond by sweeping the appropriate angles based on how far I push. Next up, I will show you how to connect a brushless motor. So here are scenes of the accident. In the first trial, the propeller flew off with the entire assembly into the wall and destroyed itself, and it's also in the second trial, as you saw, left a visible dent on the screen of my scope. But I guess that's part of engineering, and this is what makes it fun. Hello there, please do well to subscribe and like this channel if you haven't already done so. And I do want to believe that you have learned something new that you can apply to your next project. If you already aren't into engineering, I also want to invite you into this exciting field because it allows you to build whatever you think of. Until the next episode, peace out.